Hello everybody, welcome back to some more Project Zomboid. Hope we're all doing well. Today we're going to be taking a little look at some early game builds. Things that you as a new player, maybe you've just started for the first time, you're getting into build 42, or maybe you're returning for build 42 and haven't played in a while and needed a little refresher. Either way, if you only got a handful of hours, this video is for you. We're going to be going through a few different builds, what you should be looking for in the occupation and trait selector screen. So yeah, let's get started. So first off, if you are a new player and you're looking at all these occupations and you're a little bit intimidated by it, don't worry, just click custom occupation. It gives you some free trait points to work with off the bat. We will go into occupations, but we're going to do a real nice, easy, basic one. We'll break it down. So the most basic build that I could come up with personally, which I think covers quite a few bases, that is this build here. So we're on custom occupation. We have 2 negatives and 5 positives. The negatives, we'll start with a weak stomach here. You have a higher chance of having a food illness. So basically you're doubling your chance to get food poisoning, and you're doubling the severity of that food poisoning. Now, this sounds bad, but this is essentially, at least from what I have found in build 42, is one of the only free points. Like real free points. There are definitely really good negative traits, which are definitely worth taking. But in terms of something that may not even affect you ever, weak stomach is that. It really is as simple as just don't eat bad food. And now, in my traits video, I had people saying, oh, it's not that easy. It's gonna have to be. If you're struggling to like not eat bad food, I mean, you're just gonna have to figure it out, because points are very hard to come by in the new build 42 balancing. Very good if you're just doing a standard playthrough. Bring weak stomach, just don't eat gone off or burnt food. And the other one here is slow healer. You may feel the effects of this one, but don't worry, it's manageable. If you get hurt out on a run, chances are it's not going to recover by the time you get to safety anyway. So bringing this, it doesn't really change too much. It might just affect how long you have to wait until you get back on the horse again. As we'll come to talk about, my mantra for building a character is prevention over cure. You're better off avoiding negative situations than trying to remedy them when you're already in them, if that makes sense. So moving on to the positive ones here, we have dexterous, which is an absolute classic. Transfers inventory items quicker, and with 2 new additions, you can now climb ropes faster, have a less chance of falling from them, and we shoulder our weapons quicker, which were just buffs on an already really good trait. It's going to save you a lot of time. If you're on a looting run and you need to get in and out about a lot quicker, it's one of those ones that stick with you the whole game. You can't earn it through gameplay, so it's a really good one to bring. Outdoorsman now turn to outdoorsy. Your chance of catching a cold is lowered significantly. On top of that, you have an extremely low chance of getting damaged by trees while walking through them, which is another great one to have. And you're just generally less affected by weather on the whole. For the sake of 2 points, this can help out a lot if you get caught out in the elements for any reason. Just gives you a little extra layer of protection on that front there. Okay, another perk that only costs 2 points and is absolutely brilliant. Wakeful. Like, I cannot understate how important this perk is to bring if you want to min-max your general playthrough. Even if you just don't even want to min-max, you just want a little bit more leniency or wiggle room, or this is just a must-have. You recover your fatigue 25% faster while sleeping, which therein means you sleep 25% less than usual. But also while you're out and about during your day, your fatigue rate is cut by almost a third. For those new players who might be wondering why this is insane, this basically just gives you more time to do anything and everything. Again, for the sake of 2 points, you should absolutely incorporate this one into your build. Moving on, next we have Brave, which not only affects panic now, but also stress. It also cuts in half your unhappiness rate while looting corpses. Since the desensitized nerf, Brave has become a lot more useful. For those who don't know, if you picked the veteran occupation, you're automatically given a trait called desensitize, which meant you felt no panic whatsoever. So you were just able to aim with your weapons freely and have none of them miss due to panic, which was really good. But they nerfed it, and it's kind of just a little bit better Brave, but picking a veteran is really expensive. So Brave has become the kind of de facto go-to, is just a kind of halfway point. But yeah, being less panicked, being less stressed out, being less unhappy, because you're going to be looting corpses all the time. It's a part of the gameplay loop. This costs 4, but I think it's a pretty decent one to bring. And finally, on this iteration of this build, we will build upon it. We have Graceful, which out of Graceful and Inconspicuous, so Graceful is the one that you make less noise when moving, and Inconspicuous over here, you're less likely to be spotted by zombies. You could interchange these. I find Graceful a lot more useful, because with Inconspicuous, the thing is, if a zombie can see you, you can also likely see them, but if a zombie can hear you, you may not necessarily be able to hear them. So I think going down the route of making less noise is a lot better, especially with how they've buffed stealth in the current build 42. But with Graceful, with making less noise, you also have a 10% less chance of falling after vaulting, which is always great. And the big one for me, less chance of falling when bumping into a zombie, which can save you in a pinch. If you're having to dash through a horde of zombies, Graceful can be the make or breaker in whether you trip over and get fucking mauled, or if you keep on running. So, we're going to start building upon this. First off, we're going to go through the negative traits first. We're going to have a brief talk about them. What we're going to have a quick look at, though, is this one, slow metabolism. So you have a permanent tendency to gain weight. You start with the high weight trait. So if your weight is lower than 90, you will need almost a third of less of the amount of calories to gain that weight. Now, for some people, and in the long run, this could be a good thing. As the game goes on and there is less food around, this trait might actually do you some favors. The only problem with this is that a lot of people like to eat a lot of food to give themselves like the stuffed buff, which gives them extra strength, extra carrying weight while they're out on runs. If you are doing that a lot though, slow metabolism, you'll be putting on weight very quickly. So it really does come down to how you like to play the game, how you like to approach looting runs. Because if you're a player who knows how to secure food quickly, likes to keep them on them all the time, fast metabolism might be something that's completely fine for you. But on the flip side, if you're a player who doesn't want to worry about food all the time, takes maybe a bit of a slower approach, slow metabolism might be the way to go. If you're a very new player, I would not worry about these two just yet. So let's talk about prone to illness. Plus 4 points, more prone to disease, faster rate of zombification. You have an extra 70% chance of catching a cold, which is cancelled out by Outdoorsy, which has a minus 75. And you got the 25% corpse sickness rate. I think this is a good one to bring. If you're not too bothered about the complete full benefits of Outdoorsy, this essentially is just 2 free points on top of some nice little extra additions from Outdoorsy. Probably the worst thing here is corpse sickness. That's basically comes about when you hang around dead zombies for too long. You know what I'm gonna say? Just don't do that. Don't kill zombies in and around your base. It's alright to be around them for a little bit, but yeah, just don't live with them. Okay, another perk that if you want to push the boat out a bit, you can definitely work with, and that is thin-skinned. So you have a higher chance of being scratched or bitten, and that sounds scary. That really does sound scary. Zombie attacks are 1.3 times more likely to injure you. You're also slightly more vulnerable to tree scratches. Again, Outdoorsy helps you with that. If you're bringing thin-skinned, if you're bringing prone to illness, bring Outdoorsy. It's only 2 points. It will help counter some of the negative sides of those perks. Okay, so yeah, you're almost a third times more likely to have a zombie attack injure you. I'm gonna say, considering how much agency you have as the player, this percentage boost to being injured from a zombie attack really doesn't make that much of a difference. You should be learning to avoid being bitten, scratched, grabbed, and adding an extra percentage to being injured by having that happen to you. It's not something you should really worry about. I think for the sake of 8 points, this is absolutely worth it. There are a few other perks that you might want to bring. I'm going to kind of chuck them on screen now. Slow reader, pretty simple. There's a bigger emphasis on reading things in Build 42. There's a lot of skill books, a lot more literature. There's just a lot more to read and a bit more reason to be reading. So slow reader is not quite as good as it used to be, especially early game. Smoker has also taken a huge nerf. Tobacco is really hard to come by. It's only worth 2 points now. So yeah, Smoker used to be just a free trait to bring and get 4 points, but not anymore. We have 12 points to spend in building upon this build here. Let's have a look at what may be useful to a new player. So Cat's Eyes. I think it's important to note that with Cat's Eyes, it doesn't increase your ability to see in dark rooms. It only, as of right now, helps at night. We also added Organized, which increases your container inventory capacity, plus 30%, which is really good. It means you can store more in your bags, which means you can pick up more in looting runs. You can store more in your vehicle. You can store more in the containers at your safe house. It's just really, really good. For the sake of 4 points, it's really good, man. Yes, and that left us with 6 points to spend. And I think these 6 points is really up to you. I can give you a few pointers. So we have things such as Fit and Stout, which Stout adds 25% carrying weight and plus 2 strength. Stout you can absolutely earn through normal gameplay. Same for Fit. Fit adds 2 extra fitness. It takes quite a while to up your fitness and strength, and then there's ones above that, athletic and strong. They can all be earned through standard gameplay, so they're not absolutely necessary. I would say if you were going to bring one, bring stout, mainly for the 25% carrying weight that you get off the bat. Stout paired with organized is it's a really good combo for just going on heavy loot runs. But yeah, fitness only giving you +2 in fitness without the benefits that like athletic gives you, which is with +4 you have 20% extra running speed, sprinting speed, minus 40% endurance loss while running and sprinting. Like athletic is really good, but it's so expensive. And then you have strong, which gives you 50% carrying weight, 40% knockback force when shoving zombies. Really good as well, but again, 10 points. You might as well pick one. If you're going down this route of picking one of these, you might as well pick one of these, which will help you on your way to the better version of that trait. But again, it's stuff that you can earn in-game by just improving your fitness and strength, so don't feel like you absolutely have to bring one of those to ever get the benefits of them. I believe I spoke about keen hearing when my recording crashed, so I will talk about it again. Keen hearing is definitely one that will benefit you as a new player. Larger perception radius basically means the ring around your character shows zombies as they come into it, namely behind you, is much larger. It's really good when you're getting to grips with the game, and also learning certain sound cues. Keen hearing will definitely help you there, but I wouldn't recommend it as one that you have become a bit of a crutch. I think it's good for learning certain sound cues and understanding how zombies kind of act while behind you. Sounds weird, but this is a good perk to have while you're gaining experience and knowledge on the game. Fast Learner is another one that's only 6 points. Plus 30% XP gains for all skills besides fitness and strength. If you want to skip a bit of the grind, have quite a versatile character, can't go wrong with Fast Learner. Fits quite well in this build. So yeah, I did speak about all the occupations, but my recording software crashed. This is for a new player video anyway. Honestly, do not worry yourself about them. Now, occupations that I would take a look at if you are a new player and you really feel like taking one: fire officer, police officer, park ranger, security guard, and lumberjack. I think all the others have their place. Some are definitely better than others. Obviously, there are ones that are very profession specific, things like welder, engineer, blacksmith, etc, etc. But of course, this is just from my experience as someone who continues to play the game and learn from the game, and ultimately you should be experimenting to find what works for you. But hopefully it's helped you in creating at least a base for your build. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And by the way, memberships are open. You can get yourself a cute little member badge. There's not much in there at the moment, but there'll be updates to videos as I'm making them, updates to projects that I'm working on. As a game developer, I am working on many projects. Yeah, it should be pretty chill in there. And it's a great way to support the channel if you're in a position to do so, of course. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one.